Welcome, welcome. Today, Kate, is a huge milestone. Today we are day 60.
See, we should just wait till today to
do our giveaway. Let everybody enter it until then. You're gonna have to chill for a sec.
Wait, I want to go to my toy.
Oh my goodness, she's got a ton of energy already. Whew. You'd think that 3 hours of gymnastics would have gotten that out of her.
You said that
hands are
before. That's
Wow.
the second time saying.
This is the second time today? What? I haven't said that today.
That's the second time you said it during the video.
Well, you would think that 3 hours of gymnastics would calm you down a little bit. Make you need to go take a nap or something. Welcome, Sue Ellen.
This one's named Pinky.
Pinky.
The brown one was...
We're so creative with animal names.
No, that's
the actual name.
Oh, is it? Well, somebody else ran out of creativity too then.
Up in the night sky, you just
I've
may
got one
see
named Twiggy.
me flying by.
Nice job.
Birthday, August 14th.
It matches you today too.
Yeah, and the other one, the brown one was named Swoops.
Sue Ellen, I need a self-charging battery. That's what I need. Okay, stop. We're not going to be obnoxious, all right? But yes, we got up early this morning at like 6:30. We went on our walk this morning. I came back home and went back to bed for about 45 minutes before I had to take these girls to gymnastics. But whew, I could use a little bit of energy. Okay, that's enough. Stop. Okay, so yesterday when...
Bye. She said she's waving bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. So yesterday before we rudely got interrupted with phone calls and flute lessons that we forgot about.
So those are typically today.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, typically your flute lesson. But I think,
summer.
did we switch it to Monday permanently for the summer, right?
Yeah. So it's
So we were totally off base yesterday. And yeah, so we didn't get to finish. So Kate has to do her ear post. I did one yesterday. It showed you what it looked like, how I would do that.
so she'll do the other one.
No, I will
today.
not do the other one. Kate will be doing this one today.
Yeah, she'll do the other one and she'll do it perfectly and she'll show you.
Okay, we'll show them what you're going to be doing.
We'll
So,
be all done. So
Yes.
you don't even need to see a video.
whatever. Kate switches to this camera down here on the bottom. Nope, bottom one. There you go. That one. Yep. All right, so Kiari has decided that today
This is the
she
one
is
that
going
I
to do
wanna
some
do.
piercing. Okay, you want to do this one? So what I have here is, Kate, find out how many millimeters this metal is. It's 22
This is for
gauge.
sandpaper.
You're right, that one is for sandpaper, but you know what? That one can cut paper too. And actually, you don't even have to cut it out, honey. It's a sticker now, remember?
All right.
We made it a sticker. So we just ran these through the sticker machine. So 0.66 is about what we're looking at. So about 0.65, about 0.6 is what we're looking at millimeter wise
Can I
for
put it on?
22 gauge. Yes, but wait. Before you put it on, remember, you need to prep your metal.
All right.
Right? You remember that? So set it right here. No, right here. And you want to always run it in one direction. Right? Okay, and that just gives you a good base to work with.
Scratches it though.
It does scratch it, but we're removing any oxidation, we're removing any of
I
those
think it's
imperfections.
cool how it scratches it.
It is kind of cool,
Like
huh?
if you don't
We
go
need more
hard,
shirt
look.
ideas. What else should we do for shirts?
Have a happy unicorn life.
Is that your new one? Have a happy unicorn life?
No, I just had an idea of that. I just came up with it right now.
Yes. And Louise, you are right. I already know how to do this, so that's why Kate gets to do this particular one today. Not only that, you've got to get over your fear, right? You've got to get over this so that eventually you can start doing this without me sitting right next to you. That is the goal. Because do you see my teacher sitting next to me?
No.
You didn't have a teacher.
I did have a teacher. Somebody taught me. Matter of fact,
Pass yet?
what's that?
Has she died yet?
No, it was
That's
a
a
guy.
good
His
thing.
name was Nick.
Has he died yet?
No, he still teaches.
Yay!
Okay,
That's a good thing.
so good. Let's get this kind of cleaned out here a little bit. All right, now you are ready to put your sticker on there. welcome everybody that's joining us. We're so glad you guys are here. So what we're doing right now, Kiara is going to get her project ready and then go over to one of the other benches here in the studio, and she is going to start piercing. Now, Kiari, here's something I want you to see. So we have a lot of room on this metal, right?
Yeah.
But our pattern's not that big, right?
So put it in the corner.
Yeah. So that way you don't waste all of your metal. Okay, so if we put it like there somewhere, so go ahead and push that down and get that into place. So this way, now we only use up this much of our paper or our metal, and then you can always come back and use the other parts of the metal for something else, right? So that's one of the things that I always try to do. I'm a little bit frugal that way, especially when it comes to working with silver and gold. I want to make certain that I use my metal as efficiently as possible. All right, so Kiari, here is this. You go pierce that out.
Did I earn money from doing the unicorn one?
You earned the satisfaction of doing an amazing job.
Did I earn any money?
No.
Why would I pay you money? You used my money. You broke my saw blades. You cut up my metal.
Well, I'm supposed to cut up the metal.
We'll talk later, dude.
Can we get her little...
But I accidentally only broke one blade.
Only one blade on that?
That was on the tail. Or no, yeah. I was about to turn one of the hair things, and then all of a sudden I heard a blink.
Blink. I hate that
like,
sound.
Oh, come on.
All right, you go pierce this one out, and we'll talk in a little
I
bit.
didn't want it to break so I would get the money.
I know. No, no, because you broke a blade.
Yeah, but
No, when you can get, Kiari, when you can cut through a piece entirely, no, because that one's a really easy one. I'll get you another unicorn, and when you can cut out that unicorn without breaking a blade, you'll get $20.
I might need help on the main though.
Tom says you should be paying me for teaching you.
I don't need teaching anymore.
Oh, you don't need teaching anymore? What?
I don't need teaching with this.
Oh, you go get to work. All right. Okay, so here we go. So Sue Ellen says, Kate, the first time you solder on a post, it's scary. But it's not going to be that scary because you saw how easy that was, right? You saw what I did.
Goodbye.
No, you get to sit right here.
Bye.
Okay, so anyway, nice try. Okay, so what you need to do first, let's come back over here. I know you did, Goober. So what I want you to do is get your post. Remember, you're sitting right in front of the camera. Nobody can see. Ding-a-ling, look at that. See, look at your head. Way to go. So now you have the solder already here on the end of this, right? You put it into your tweezers, and there is your little spot that we're looking for. You're just going to rest it on top of that. Okay. Oh man, you guys, show me the money, no doubt. So today, while she's doing this, I'll tell you. Today I've been editing videos. It's been kind of interesting. I had been in the process of filming. Go ahead and. So what you're going to have to do on this, Kate, is this has to come down a little bit further. Because see, it's not actually even touching right now. See that? So what I do sometimes is I'll bring this down, and then I'll bring it up just a slight bit so that it tension holds it into place. Does that make sense? And then you can start to move this around and adjust that. Does that make sense? Okay. So anyway, I was in process of filming an earring workshop. Making ear wires and showing how to do all of that. It's going to be a workshop that's less expensive. Well, then I signed up with a marketing guru to launch my next workshop, which is going to be that freeform cuff. And one of the things that we had kind of talked about was taking the earring workshop and just putting it in as a bonus for the bracelet workshop. But at the same time, the bracelet workshop's probably not coming out until August. I still have to get everything filmed and all the documents made, so it's a process, not just the marketing end of it, but also the course creation. because you guys see how I do things. I'm pretty thorough. So actually, let me ask you guys, would you be more interested, thank you, would you be more interested in having the earring workshop thrown in as an extra bonus in the bracelet workshop, or is it something that you say, nope, go ahead and do? It's a very small workshop, very straightforward, does not have all of the extra bonuses that I normally do with my workshops, you know, but say $50 is kind of what I'm thinking. And at this point, as of this morning, I have now edited 9 videos so far for that earring workshop. So again, pretty comprehensive. I was thinking I would just put it out for $50, or, you know, you guys tell me, are you interested enough in that you want me to put it out for the $50? Or do you want to wait for the bigger workshop of the cuffs and throw it in as a freebie? Let me know what you guys think.
Freebie!
You want it as a freebie?
Unless you want to get money.
Of course I want to get money. I'm broke.
Well, let's do the 50.
I'm so broke. It's not even funny. Yeah, it's getting dangerous now.
She wants it separately.
Sue Ellen, thank you.
Maybe they'll give you tips. Extra $1.
Oh, believe me. Oh, you think that they'll give me tips in the course?
It's a freebie.
Yeah. Don't take that too far out.
Give you money because you teach them and you do a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, so anyway, something to think about. So we've got a couple of different things. Like some of you guys like the freebie, some of you guys like it separately.
I think separately is probably a good idea too.
Well, if I do it separately, I should be able to have the earring workshop out probably by next week, depending. We've got, you guys remember yesterday my husband was trying to get a hold of me. Well, we've got actually a family issue where my mother-in-law is not doing well. So, barring any major things, I would probably even be able to get it out next week if I do that way. Okay, so Kate, when you get this going, do you recall where I put my torch?
Around it.
Tom, you're so poor you can't even pay attention. I'm kind of with you. Have you noticed how scattered I am lately? All right, so when we do this, we want to put our flame in here. I'll just even draw it on the board. We want to kind of have our flame here.
Won't the
right?
get rid of the drawing?
Yeah, it might, and that's fine. But yeah, so we want to have it here. Suzanne, it is so easy. It's basically 20 gauge wire. It's very, very, very basic, like I said, and it's just talking about making different styles of ear wires. Okay, so what you would do is you're going to direct your flame here, okay, and what's going to happen is that heat is going to bounce up and it's going to heat up your heart. We want to keep our flame away from this wire as much as possible. Like we never even want to hit it because we just want to heat up the base of our piece and let it pull that solder down so that we get a good solder joint. And see how good that one is? That's what we want to see. See how nice and round that is? It's pretty even. That's what we want to see, okay?
Yep.
All right, you ready? Here's your pick. Where's my other pick? I need a pick.
Right there.
Okay, well, I'll take this pick then.
I like the both right there.
Okay, so I'll get back to comments in just a second after we get this torching done. Okay, that's looking really good. Yep, just keep it right here on the board. Come in just a little bit closer, honey. A little closer to the board. A little closer. Bring your torch down. All right, stop. You're done. Did you see it flow? You didn't see that flow? Yeah, there was just, that's where you got to watch. You've got to keep your eye right here on that solder. And it just went, and it was beautiful. That was fantastic. So not as much as you thought it would be, huh? Yeah, not nearly as difficult as you thought it would be. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it could, with my mother-in-law, it could go either way. So it's pretty touch and go. So definitely, I appreciate all of the prayers. So thank you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and take these over. I have the pickle ready. Take those over and put those into the pickle.
Can't feel my hands.
I know, sorry. All right, so you take that. All right, as far as the course goes, somebody was saying, like, what level is it? It's very basic. And the thing that's kind of nice is that I show you all different styles of ear wires, because, you know, you can buy a package of ear wires at, you know, Michael's or wherever, you know, but those are going to be basically a base metal. And if you want them in sterling, then they're a lot more expensive, and it's stupid to pay that at Michael's or wherever. And even on Rio, I mean, they've got some great ones. And don't get me wrong, I like to buy ear wires that I don't have to do, but at the same time, I'd rather have my own spin on that. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And so I show many different styles. One style uses a torch. Everything else is just wire. And you don't even have to do the torch. I mean, that style is great because you get a little ball on the end of your wire. So we'll talk about some of that and the torch control that you would need, and all of that kind of information. But again, it just makes it so that you can take your earrings and maybe bump them up a notch by putting on a decorative ear wire, something that speaks a little bit more to the art of your piece, rather than just having something like a basic swan hook. Now, I go through the basic swan hook as well, and then I show you a couple of different ways to dress that up a little bit. So that's kind of where I was coming from when I did that course as well. Glenda, your studio is going to be ready in the next week or two. That is so exciting. Tell them that they can't do the or ... Say next week or two. That's it. And I'm moving in. I think you should. That's going to be awesome. So, all right. So you guys are kind of like in the separate offering. I mean, that's where I was headed anyway. And so it kind of derailed me a little bit when the guy was like, no, let's just throw it in as a freebie. And I'm like, well, I kind of like this other idea better, but you know, there's still going to be amazing things with my bracelet workshop. So the bracelet workshop is a free form. It's a free form bracelet workshop, and I actually will walk you through 3 different variations of that. No, free form just means that it's not, that it's just different. It's a unique bracelet that you make each time. So, all right, so Kate, we are done here with this soldering station. So let's move this out of our way. And I want to show you guys, Sue Ellen had contacted me a little bit before class, I guess that's what this is, right? Video, class, whatever. So she contacted me a little bit ago and asked if I could talk about torches. Where did I put them? There they all are. Okay, so what's that?
The torches.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the butane torches. Now, we're not talking anything like acetylene. Oh, go get me the other torch. It is on the back side, I think, of the soldering station. It's the one that has the canister, that the head hooks onto the canister. Please? I think, just go over there and look, and then look down on the ground and see if it's sitting down there, or if it's on that table somewhere. I don't know where all that is. Oh, April, you know what? It's so much fun when you start to put a studio together. Can you not find it? The one that has the torch head that hooks on. Nope, not that one. Is it over on, I don't know where it went. Is it on the tabletop? You know which torch I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about.
All right, so tell y'all what, talk amongst yourselves for just a second and let me go find this other torch. Hang on.
I see it.
I don't either. Where did it go? My torch ran away.
It grew legs and ran away now.
It did grow legs. Where did it go? Oh man.
It's like a French fry spider.
A French fry spider?
Hamburger with French fries.
Yeah? You think so?
Pretty sure we don't live.
Meatballs.
Yeah.
Where did it go? That's wackadoo. All right, well, I guess we won't be able to talk about that one. You are so good, Kiari. Don't get cocky, that's when the blades break. Well, I have no idea where that torch went. Cocky means when you think that you're like absolutely amazing.
And start to talk about it.
Yes. All right, well, that's really weird. I have no idea where I put that torch.
Mom, it's a little bowl.
Look at that. I have so many torches, I don't even know what's where. Okay.
It's a little bowl.
What's that?
It's a little bowl.
It is a little bowl. All right, so let me catch this really quickly. So, Suzanne, what tools do you need for the bracelets? That'll come out as I develop the course a little bit more. Nothing has been filmed yet, but basically it's our soldering setup. You know, what you guys have seen me do with the girls, that's really what you're going to need. And then some way to bend that. And I'll show variations of tools that you can use to bend your bracelet around. So if you don't have a bracelet mandrel, there are still other options. So I would show several things in there as well. And then in addition, because it is a soldering, actually I'm not going to tell you guys anymore because you guys will hear once we get it going and stuff. Nice. Once we get that all going, I'll come out with more information and kind of tell you what's coming up as well. Glenda, you said that you're somewhat ready, and it's a 9x9 space, which is fantastic. I think you guys, everybody sees my studio, and I know that they're envious of it, but you have to remember my studio is meant for teaching and having multiple people in here. If it were just me, would I need 5 jeweler's benches? No. You know, would I need all of this?
Would be tools.
Yes, it would. I mean, but really, I mean, like I could set up shop in your bedroom, although her bedroom's bigger than 9x9. My bedroom at home when I grew up was 9x9, but yours is like 12x15 or something. Like I could do in that room, I could do a great studio in there.
Same size as mine.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. Suzanne, the charcoal block that I use, the one that you see more often is the hard one, but I have them both. And definitely if you have a soft charcoal block, you need to make sure that you bind it and wrap that up as well.
We could do a t-shirt that says, I want Melissa's studio.
There you go. I want to be in Melissa's studio. Yes. So, okay guys. So what we have here, barring one more torch, and that's too bad. Go keep looking, see if you can find it, please. I have no idea where it would be. But it's so weird that it would be gone. I don't know.
Of course it's gone when you're doing a live video.
Of course it is. Yeah, that's exactly how that works, right? So, Glenda, you know, you say that your flute doesn't take up much room, and that is true. And Kate has a piccolo too, and neither one of those take up room. But we have a music room upstairs, and in my music room, I have a gigantic marimba, and it takes up a lot of room. And, you know, it takes up at least a couch, like the space that you would have with the sofa.
We've also got Kiara's cello, 2 music stands.
We do have Kiari's cello in there too. Kiari's cello takes up a fair amount of room. Kate's is easy to stick in her backpack. Kiari's gonna have fun. Like the case is still taller than she is.
I can't even stick mine in my backpack.
No?
No, I can't.
Well, only because you have too many books. All right, so let's talk about, yes, so let's talk about some of these torches. Let me switch cameras here. Okay, so when it comes to which torch do I pick and kind of their flame differences as well. So these two are going to be the smaller ones. Now this is the most similar to a Blazer butane, and this one, you know, I have to admit I had major prejudice against this one because this one looks like the one that you pick up at Harbor Freight for $5, and it is a piece of junk. This one, however, is not a piece of junk, but I still judged it based off of the look of the one from Harbor Freight.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
That is exactly right. She just told me don't judge the book by its cover.
Like, don't judge if you don't like the color of the thing, you don't know.
That's right.
Really
That's right. Yep. Until you start using it, you can't make that judgment. You're exactly right. So, let's see. What's that?
I think it ran away.
Right. Glenda, do you need to bind a hard block? You want to know what? I never did. And then when I studied a little bit with Alan, he said, absolutely, you bind them all. So the hard, I don't know that it's as necessary, but you definitely need to bind that soft block because it will begin to deteriorate and fall apart much faster. And so I've never had a hard or a problem with my hard blocks, but at this point I go ahead and I bind them all now anyway. And you guys will never guess what? There's a video. There's a video for that. So
Characters from Doctor Who.
what's that? Oh, it does look like a Dalek, doesn't it? Have you all seen Doctor Who? This one looks like a Dalek.
Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who and
What?
this torch. It looks like a Dalek. Well, thank you, Glenda. Yeah, I started playing percussion when I was a junior in high school, and that's what I fell in love with. So I liked the flute. I loved my flute and piccolo, but
1 year is all you have to play the flute for, and then nope.
me?
No, you told me I only had to play the flute for 1 year, and then I could switch to percussion. Nope.
Yep. But don't you enjoy it?
Flute every year.
You enjoy it. And she just made wind ensemble. So you're doing all right,
I
honey.
mean, I just made wind ensemble. I made wind ensemble a couple months ago.
Whatever. Anyway, so let's get back to these. So coming back to the torches. So these two flames are going to be very similar. So let me get these going. Now, each of them have a different mechanism of how to turn them on. So a lot of these torches will have a little safety down here. So you just have to pull that safety down and then you can ignite it. Now, in every case, you let go of this ignition, and other than this one, it will go ahead and trip that safety and turn off your torch. But there's always some kind of a switch on here that will allow you to keep that torch on. So in this case, it's by pushing this button here. Now let me zoom you guys in just a little bit so that you guys can kind of see this flame here. Let's see if I can get this back here. All right, so let's see. There we go. Now, Kate, can you, I'll just use this. So anyway, the tip of my blue flame is like right here. And I know that that may be a little bit hard to see. But anyway, so the tip of my blue flame is right there. That is the hottest part of your flame. Now I can also make my flame smaller. And I don't know if you, hopefully you guys can see this on this camera. But anyway, so I can make the flame smaller or bigger. And I can also adjust how soft or how sharp that flame is. So we have a neutral flame, an oxidizing flame, and a reducing flame. So right here, this is which flame is this one? Because your neutral flame is where you're going to be. It's my oxidizing there, I couldn't think of the word. Anyway, my oxidizing flame is where I have a lot of oxygen to my fuel ratio. Okay, a neutral flame is going to be, you're still going to have a sharp point with your blue, but it's going to have a little softer flame around it. Okay, and then this is a reducing flame, and this is where you have just a lot of gas and not much oxygen. This is good for lighting a candle, nothing at all in metalsmithing. All right, to turn this off, yep, so to turn this off, I'm just going to again push this little side, or actually I pushed in the ignition on this one and it will release that right there. Okay, so you guys, as far as the names of these, I will have to look. They are all part of the Little Hottie series. This one's called Micro Torch. I need to double check what their names are, and I will put that, I'll do that right after the video. I'll go in and edit, and I'll put links to each of the torches, and I'll start with this one. So I'll do it from the smallest flame to the biggest, and you have that in there for you. Okay, so take a break and play the marimba. Oh yeah, no, we don't want to listen to that right now. It's not a happy. But there's a video. Check that out. I have a video for that too. There is a video of me playing the marimba.
Like everything.
Almost. Okay, so this one, this is like the Blazer butane. So this one, you're just going to turn the knob here on the back. Did ya? And then you just push in this button to ignite. This one stays on. Okay, so because you're controlling your amount of gas here. Now this one you don't have as much of a, hang on just a second. The way that you would control how big your flame is whether or not you've given it more gas. I can still adjust how much oxygen I give something right here. Okay, so you would want to be able to do that. Now to turn this one off, I'm just going to switch that gas off, and that turns away. Now these two have a very similar flame. Neither one of these torches are going to be able to do any pieces that are larger than maybe an inch. And even on an inch large piece, it's going to push and kind of tax what these torches are able to do. You want to go check your pieces in the pickle, see how those are going while we're doing
There's
this?
only one video I can think that's probably not on YouTube.
Oh yeah?
Me making a doll, but that's still in progress.
Yep, we'll get there.
I need to finish.
So my next two favorite torches are these two guys, and I use them all the time in conjunction with my other torch that I cannot find right now that's attached to my butane can. There we go. So this torch, and let me zoom this out just a little bit so that we're not quite so tight and we can see this a little better. So this torch, I'm going to move these guys out of my way. This one, again, we have a safety down here. This is very similar to the Jumbo Max torch that was through Eurotool. However, I have found this one to be a bit more reliable. So anyway, I'm going to release that safety, pull that down. Again, to ignite, I'm going to push this in, and then I'm going to switch this little switch here to the back, and that will allow my torch to stay on. Now, hopefully you guys can see my flame here. So I'm out here, and notice this is a much bigger flame. And again, this is the hottest part of my flame out here. And I can also reduce the size of my flame, so I can come down a little bit more. So I do have that ability there to increase and reduce the size of my flame. This guy is going to allow me to do pieces that are about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So a much larger piece on this one. But yet, better yet, we still now come to this torch, and I don't remember the name of this one. It's got a little bigger capacity. The torch head itself is a little bit larger, which is going to allow us to have more heat and more flame through this. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to release my safety on the back of that, so it's just kind of hiding underneath this big button. I'm going to push my button here on the top. Now this one, you guys, has a much bigger flame. Like my flame ends like all the way out here. The tip of my blue is right here. But you can see it's a bigger flame, and hopefully you guys can hear the difference as well. This one is going to allow me to do pieces that are closer to like 3 inches. These two right here are pretty much what I use when I'm doing that cuff class that I'm preparing and filming now. Okay, I can also increase and decrease the amount of fuel that I have on this. And that's how I would control like the size of my flame, by giving it more or less heat that way. So hopefully you guys can see that. To turn this off, there's just this little switch here at the top. I just push that and that will turn that off. So Sue Ellen, I hope that answers that. Now, the flame, the torch that I can't find, and I absolutely adore the torch that I cannot find, so I've got to find it. But what it does is you just put the torch head right onto that can of butane, and it probably has a flame, maybe not quite twice what this one is, but a lot more. So I would say maybe 1/3 more than what this one is. So it is going to be quite a substantial one. Now, anytime you are working with a really large piece, you're going to have to maybe have a second heat source. So sometimes when I'm doing a solid cuff and I'm trying to solder elements onto that, there's a number of things that you can do to kind of help retain your heat. One, you can create a kind of an oven by using fire bricks or pumice stones or anything, solderite boards, so something like that that will allow you to maybe block the heat or keep the heat in, but block the heat from a certain area so you can work on a certain part. So there's a number of things that you can do there, but there are times also, especially if I'm working with a thick solid piece, that I will need to bring in a second torch, and that is when a second pair of hands is really handy to have. So So Sue Ellen, you said that you'll use your Smith Little torch for the bigger things. Well, now that brings up another thing. So we also have the torch. This is a Gentech. So it's kind of like a little Smith knockoff. There are different torch heads that you can get with this one. And right now this one's not hooked up to any oxygen or gas, so I can't even show you. There are different torch heads. The thing with this torch is that it is an oxygen mixed torch. So you can either use it with acetylene or you can use it with propane. And when you do that, then you have a much hotter flame, but your flame is smaller. And sometimes you need that really broad flame, especially on those larger pieces, because if you have a larger piece, your Smith Little torch is not going to be able to hold the heat everywhere because you're not able to disperse that heat as well as with a broad flame. So hopefully that makes sense. One of the torches that I would like to get into my studio that I do not yet have is a Mecco Midget, is what that torch is. And so I don't have that one yet, but you know, eventually once I save up enough money, because I want to say it's probably around $150 or so for the Mecco. And you know, I just haven't had any great pushing need for it, but that is definitely the one that Alan Revere swears by. And when I was at his studio last year, I was able to use it and really liked it. I just haven't made that one be a priority of buying where I have the other torches that make do for now. But so at least it gives you some ideas.
Like if you had all of these die out, then maybe.
Yeah. So let's see, did we see any questions that I missed? All right. So anyway, but yeah, play around with them for sure. But just know that anytime you've got that little torch, you have an oxygen mix with your gas, whether it's acetylene or propane, it's going to be a much hotter flame and it's still a very small flame. So sometimes we need that broad coverage, and sometimes I will take one of these larger torches and use that as my secondary heat source so that then I can take this torch and concentrate it where I need to be. But all of it's going to just be practice and trial and error. So, Judy, you don't have this range of products there in Oz. That would be really hard. We are so fortunate here in the States that we have access to so much. I have access to materials. I have access to tools. That is hard. And I know it's very difficult to get things, especially over there into Australia. So what kind of gas do I like on the small torch? In my studio, I did this one as propane because I already have an acetylene air torch. So I have another torch that you guys saw last week when we were doing the sand casting, and that one is just acetylene air. So I do not have an oxygen mix to that. It pulls in the oxygen from the atmosphere and pulls that in through the torch tip itself, or the torch head, and then we'll mix there right at the head of the torch. And so when I set this one up, I decided to do it as propane. Ideally, if I could have it here in my studio, which I could, we just haven't made it a priority to do it, I have my natural gas heaters on the other side of the wall here in the studio. And really, I would love to pull in an oxygen concentrator and plumb into my natural gas line and do my torch that way. That was the first kind of mixed gas torch that I ever used. Matter of fact, that's what Alan uses even in his studio, is natural gas and oxygen, and it works really, really well. Let's see. Yeah, I love my acetylene air torch. So I moved up to my acetylene air torch, and like I said, it's a Goss, which is similar to a Prestolite. So if you guys are familiar with those torches. And again, I can link to the torch setup that I would suggest if you look at a Goss. I'll link that into the video as well. But when I was trying to make, actually it was this piece right here. So our project, because I was at the University of Akron when we did this, and so our project was that we had to raise a vessel. So in this case, this is my vessel. This started out as a 14 gauge 4x4 inch piece of copper.
That's where my marble went.
Is that your marble?
Yep, you took it from me.
How nice of me. Anyway, so I had to raise this baby by hand. I gave myself tendinitis with this cup. But in addition to our cup or our vessel, we also had to create a holder for this. Okay, and this was my holder. And let me put it down here. Let's switch cameras. Thank you. All right, so this was my holder that I was doing. And at the time, all I had were my blazer butane. That was all I had. It's just this little blazer like this, okay? This has nowhere near enough heat for this. But by this time, I was teaching classes and I happened to have multiple blazer butanes. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to attach this wire right here to this wire here, but of course everything else was soldered. And I had to do it at home because the project was due the next day and I didn't get it finished in class. So I was trying to solder that on and it took 3 torches. So I was holding 2 in one hand, 1 in the other hand, and finally I called my husband and I'm like, hold these 2 torches and I want you to, you know, I'll point with the other torch and my pick and everything. And so it took 2 of us to get it on there, but that eventually is how I got that all soldered on. So that was my vessel and my holder that I created. And it was at that point in time when I finally was like, you know, it might be time to step up. And that was when I moved into my acetylene air torch. So you were supposed, let's see. So Glenda, Rio had their oxygen concentrators on back order and they're getting them pretty quick, huh? Wow, Kiari, this looks phenomenal. Hang on, let me show you guys. Look what Kiari just finished. Did you break a blade?
No.
Nice job. Cause yeah, your corners in here, your points are pretty good, honey. Way to go.
Can I do a unicorn?
I don't have a unicorn printed up. We do.
Didn't we have other ones?
Yes, but I don't know where they are. Actually, they're over there.
Do you want to know the fun story behind this marble?
What's the fun story behind your marble?
So you went on a trip and you got us all the little marbles.
Yep, they were actually, I was in Canada when I got this one. And it was made by a glass artist who was there demoing. You did. It's upstairs in the, up in the curio
what
cabinet.
I did is I had this special little egg that had like all these different little shapes cut out, so I put it in there with my $2 coin as well, and I just kept it in there. And one day I decided, okay, I'm gonna show Molly because this is really cool. So I went upstairs and I showed you it was in my special little egg with my special coin and all my special stuff. And you're like, oh, let me take that so that I can keep it somewhere special for you. And like,
well, you can have it back. Now you know where it is. There you go.
But it's in someplace special, and I know where it is with all my special stuff.
I need
on my
a piece of
special
metal.
shelf.
You need another piece of metal. Over there by that bracelet mandrel, there is a little stack of metal.
And I was so
This big
confused on
one?
why you took it, and I thought you put it in the little
In
glass
the carry
shelf.
upstairs.
But you didn't, so I could never find it. I was like,
Aw, I'm
well,
sorry.
I guess she lost it.
Nope, I didn't lose it. So right there on the table, there's some little squares of copper. But I don't know if I don't think that they're big enough for your unicorn, honey. Kasim, isn't she really good at this sawing? You know, all 3 of my girls have been really good with it, and I've started all of them at age 9. And they've all been pretty good. Kate hasn't done a whole lot since we started her, but they're definitely doing pretty good. I'm pretty impressed and excited. See, I think that your unicorns are, actually, nope. I think it's too big.
Wait,
Would it fit there? Oh, it'll fit right there. Okay, so you could do that one.
I need a sticker.
Well, you know how to make a sticker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Okay. Some of those this glass artist was amazing. He made this beautiful tree.
Yep, and
it is stunning and so fragile and beautiful, and he gifted it to me at the end of the show, which was phenomenal. And I had to bring it back from Canada, and going through customs, I'm like, don't you dare break my tree. Don't you dare break my tree. And then we moved, and I was like, okay, the tree goes in the front seat with me. So, yeah.
Have it.
Tom, yes, the oxygen concentrator is the exact same one that people use for their medical needs. It's the exact same one. So if you could, if you can ever find those, sometimes you can find them used at the medical supply places.
If I don't
So-
make a plate on this unicorn
then you can have $20. But don't get too excited. You haven't started yet. And it's a pretty tricky piece. But yes, if you can do the whole thing without breaking a blade, hand me that torch, please. Then I will give you $20. All right, so the next thing that we need to do now, Kate's earrings are out of the pickle. Let's put these.
Look at it.
All right, so let's see. Okay. Yeah, there's still a little bit in there. I would probably leave those in the pickle, just a little bit more. Inside the tube itself, there's a little bit of dirt in there. Now,
I tried to get that out.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think actually these are probably okay. You probably could put them back in there. Our solder joints look really good, not only on the tubing itself. Yeah, that's on there. So that's looking really good. But also the back is looking really nice as well. You can see that we have a nice pool of solder all the way around the stem. And that's what we have. Oh, Kasim, you're lovely. Thank you so much.
A microphone.
Hey, look.
Mine's in the other room.
Here, we'll do a mic drop. I'm gonna break the pencil. It might break the pencil. All right, thank you so much, Kasim. We appreciate that. I do have a 20 handy, so we're pretty good shape. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I gave you my last 20.
We
might have to go borrow money from Dad.
No, you have to go to the bank.
There's no money in my bank. I'll have to go to the bank of Dad.
Well, we also have to go because you owe me money from one.
I do owe you money, unless you want to earn your epoxy. All right. Well, thank you, April. Sometimes I'm quite enamored with them as well, and sometimes not. Huh? Because you're a stinker. Yes, they squish you. Okay, good job. You cleaned off your copper very nicely, Kiara. Nicely done. Okay, so what we're going to do on these earrings, first of all, we are going to harden our ear posts. Let me back this up just a little bit. So we need to back the ear post on this. I should bill her $20, but it's $40 for the class. I like that. Yep, so I'll give her $20 if she does it and then charge her 10 more. I like the way you think, Tom. Because I taught you class. Actually, you would give me 20.
No, because she already did a piece.
So yeah, but I never said didn't say I was going to pay her for the butterfly.
You only said it. You only said if she did a piece without.
Nope. No, I told her one of the unicorns. I did tell her that.
You said a big piece.
A big piece, yeah. All right. I know, isn't that a fun little butterfly? She's so fun to watch. It's kind of cool. All right. So what we want to do here, I want a pair of flat nose pliers. We want to harden our ear wire. And at this point, this is very, very long. Obviously, we're not going to keep it this long because nobody has earlobes that wide or thick. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a once around. Okay, so I didn't do like a full rotation. We just did the 180 rotation. And that is going to stiffen this up a bit. All right, so do that, and I want you to keep it, make sure that you try to keep this straight. So what I did was I picked up the earring, okay, held it obviously in my hand, and you just are going to hold on to your wire and rotate it around. So you're going to twist it. And what will happen is it's going to harden that ear wire. Well, you just hold on to it and twist. That's all. Did you do it?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know if you did it or what?
I don't know.
Well, I had to go get a tool, so either you did it or you didn't do it. Which one is yours? Well, did you hold on to it like this? Yes? Mm-hmm. Did you rotate it like this?
Yeah.
Then you did it. Okay, so these are really cute. I like these. At this point, I could cut the ear wire if we wanted to. And well, actually, let's go ahead and do that. So you need to measure out 11 millimeters. 11 millimeters is fairly comfortable as far as the length of that ear wire. It's not going to be so long that it's poking you in the neck, and it's going to still be long enough that you can put on an ear nut, or you can put on one of those little, we call them marshmallows, the soft little plastic ends. So, April, you raised 3 boys. I don't know what I would ever do with a boy. Yeah, we never figured out how to make a boy, and some people tell me that boys are easier. And what are you doing? Okay, that's like 0.25. That's, and I need 11 millimeters, not 0.11, because 0.11 is like nothing. I mean, my solder is thicker than 0.11. So
I feel like that's really long.
it does look a little bit long, doesn't it? But it's actually not. By the time, like, if I were to take your earlobe, here.
No.
Okay, I won't do it, but I'll show you. That's fine. 10.9798, it's 11. Do you know how thick your hair is? Okay, so if you take your hair and you put this into the calipers, it's going to be so thin that you're not even going to notice the difference for that. So Sue Ellen, you said it's not easier. Yeah, I don't know that girls or boys are easier. I think that they all just come with their own little things. And let me tell you, Kiari's like my little boy. She is so into potty humor and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like I have one anyway. And then Riley is a major tomboy. She does nothing but Dungeons and Dragons and computer games. So
Candy is a lot of fun.
Oh, but Tom, I'll bet we could find a hair that we could measure. Maybe you have to pull it out of your eyebrow. Oh, that's fine. Okay, anyway, that's close enough, honey. You're 1/100th of a millimeter. Okay, so what we want to do now is you can, look, I want you to come in here, and this is actually probably easier this way. If you put it like this, right here. Let me show these guys what we're doing. So now what we're doing is we're trying to measure this. Now, if we try to go this way, it's going to be very difficult because the end of my caliper is going to hit.
Did you lock it in place?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so what we can do is we can take this other end here and we can use that. So if we set that up next to that, then you're gonna cut right there on the end. Does that make sense? Here's a cutter right here. There you go. Okay. So Tom, you said you had 3 boys and then your last was a girl, and girls are sweeter and nicer. Well, let me tell you guys, okay, move it down a little bit. You don't want to work right there at the very tip of my cutter, right? You break my cutter, you get to buy me a new cutter. It's only $70. So.
I know, but I had to get where I was going.
Okay, I know. I just wanted to make sure you moved it down. So now here's a tip for you guys. So it would be very difficult for her to take this right here and be able to get this anywhere other than the tip of our cutter, right? It would be very difficult to, just because of how it's positioned. So one of the things that I'll do is once I get it in position, I'll give a little bit of a squeeze, and that's going to give me
a little mark.
And then you can pull this in and clip it there. Now the other thing that you want to note when you're doing this is that this is the flat part of my cutter, and that's the part that I want to have against the rest of the earring. Okay? So go ahead and, there might be a little one, but I didn't mark it enough that you would be able to see it, I don't think.
Yeah, you
can you see that? Okay. Okay. So good. And she's got it where she holds on to the end of the wire so it doesn't fly off. So very good technique. Nicely done. So Kate, I'm going to take this and zero that out. Come here. I want to take and measure your earlobe is about 3.7 millimeters. Okay, and you've got to factor in also the thickness of the ear nut or that little marshmallow that we use. Okay, and that's going to be approximately 3 to 5 more millimeters, right? And then you'll have just a little bit extra sticking out there as well. So 11 millimeters is pretty comfortable. If you find that it's too much, go ahead and file some of that off as well. Judy, you have 3 boys and a girl, 10 years between 2 and 3. It's a long time between your kids. It's like having a whole new batch all over. There's 6.5 between my oldest and Kate, and then there's 4.5 between Kate and Kiari. So it's like having 3 only children.
What about Kelsey?
Well, there's only a year and a half between Kelsey.
Children. She's my best friend.
I'm glad she's your best friend. Okay, grab. Kelsey this year would turn 16. Get me one of those bench pins, please. So now what we need to do is we need to set our stone. At this point,
I'm leaving.
nope, you don't have to file. You have to set a stone.
Okay.
So,
No filing.
no filing. No filing on this one. Yeah.
Doesn't fit.
Does this one not fit? There you go. Okay, so there we go. We got that there. Okay, so the way that I do this, let's get this all set up over here. What I like to do, this is called a ring clamp. Okay, and it's called a ring clamp because a lot of times we use it for rings.
We're not
but
using it
this
for a ring.
works really, really well for this. So we have a flat spot and we also have a rounded end, but we're going to use the flat end. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to put that in and wedge it in. All right.
Won't it squish the metal?
No, because these are leather lined. Good question though. Very good question. So yeah, it's leather lined. And then what we're going to do now, well, we might not do it here. We'll see. There are some bench pins also that people have, you know, they've made a groove in here so that this will fit in there. Let's see. Hang on 2 secs, guys. Let's see. We're going to remove a couple people. All right. So another thing that we have when we're using this, let's see.
What
Kate,
kind of-
all right, yeah, go ahead and pick out your stones, dude.
What kind of thing is it?
It's 3 millimeters, so actually you're only going to be able to use the clear ones on this. Okay. All
There are
right.
no clear ones.
So there are. Let's see. That's a 4 millimeter. All right. Let's see. So we've got our little stones in here. Here we go. 3 millimeters on this one. I need to get those labeled on the top. So we have 3 millimeters on this. And what we are going to do, what? I was thinking, I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are the only ones that are 3 millimeter on this one. So you do this. Let me get out 2 stones. Let me get your bezel setting tools. Haha. I pulled them out and I didn't put them back where they were supposed to go. Are they still out? Oh, they're right here. So anyway, some people will come in and they will alter their bench pin a little bit so that they can put their vise or their clamp into that. And I think that that's what I need to do. Or they will take and they will alter the bench pin itself and make it so that it can fit into a notch in here, and that way it would hold it better. So I'm actually thinking, I'm trying to think if there's a better way to hold this so that we can get
You could put it into that thing.
into the ball vise. Yeah, I think that might actually be better just because I don't have that one ready to go. Now here's another thing that we could probably do. And I have one more tool because I think we could actually even put this right here. That might work well, just to set it into there. Let me see. I think that there's one more tool that I have. Hang on. It shouldn't squish your metal. But there's this other little, here it is. This did not work for what it was meant to do. What's that?
I'm too scared to put it in because I'm scared
Okay.
to squish it.
Well, here's this. So this tool is called a rivet block. My rivet block stunk. Okay, it stunk so bad. Like there's actually a wire stuck into it, and some of them aren't even drilled all the way through. So it didn't work well for that. So hang tight, guys. Let's see. All right. So what we're going to do is using our rivet block, we are going to put all of, hold up guys, just 1 second. Just trying to take care of some of these spammers.
Here.
you know. Let's see. All right. Yep, Sandra, I'm working on it. There are no mods. In this video stuff, it's just me. There are no mods, so that's why it's taking me a sec. Thank you. But we'll get them. We'll get rid of them. All right, anyway. Now, that's disgusting, is what that is. And you can go away too. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this rivet block, and what happens is they've got these little holes in here all the way through, so we can put that in there and it will now support this better than even this bench vise did. Okay, so let's adjust here where we're looking at this. Oh, Kate, you were gonna have to go over and grab one of the, hammers, the nylon hammers, please. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so grab one of the nylon hammers as well. All right. So,
This one?
yes, that would be fine. All right, so now that we have this, what we're going to do is she will put her stone into place, and we'll get that in there. Really, guys, it's too bad that y'all don't have better time to do anything. So, either remove, oh, just more dumb people. Yep, maybe we'll have to turn off our chat because obviously we have people who cannot be appropriate.
Maybe that's what they want us to do. The bad.
All right, so maybe what we need to do, all right, oh, for crying out loud, really, guys, come on. Anyway, so maybe we're gonna end this video. I'm trying to turn it off, I can't, it's not letting me. Unfortunately. So, all right, we'll keep deleting and reporting. That's all we can do. So Kate, what I want you to do is I want you to get your stone set in there, and
Can I have one of the little sticky things?
all right, guys, this is ridiculous. So, you guys, you know what? Because we have a bunch of babies that cannot be appropriate, I'm going to end our video. We'll see you guys later. Have a